What's good, YouTube? Today we react to P Diddy's charges. I can't lie. That man is a menace. He has 47 allegations: assault, racketeering, and sex trafficking. T P Diddy he's on a historical run right now. A historical run. He's one of the OJ Simpsons, Cardi B. Who else? Wait, not Bill Cosby. He's on one of them runs. Let's get into the video, man.
And indicted on federal sex trafficking and racketeering allegations. But those aren't the only accusations Diddy's facing. In fact, there are dozens of allegations dating as far back as the 90s. We're breaking down all 47 shocking allegations against P. Diddy and what all this could mean for the future of his case.
Bro, 47 allegations is crazy,
and this
bro.
This is Law and Crime News.
Y'all smashing? Y'all smashing?
Sean Diddy Combs has now been behind bars for 1 week after he was indicted by a federal grand jury on some pretty serious charges. And with this major development in the case comes a renewed interest in the many allegations against the now disgraced rapper. So let's start with the federal indictment. That lists nearly 20 allegations against Diddy in support of the charges he faces: racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution.
Transportation to engage in prostitution. So he was transporting these hoes. He was giving these hoes rides to get assaulted. He was giving these hoes rides to get done filthy, put stuff in your drink.
From the jump on page 1, prosecutors come out swinging, alleging Diddy is guilty of sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. The indictment goes on to allege Diddy showed a pattern of abuse, mostly against women, that included verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual abuse, including the use of extensive grooming tactics. So let's break these down a bit. Of the physical abuse, Diddy is accused of throwing, punching, kicking, and dragging some of his victims. We saw proof of that this spring when CNN released the infamous hotel video showing Diddy brutally assault his then-girlfriend Cassie in a hotel hallway. That incident isn't blatantly referenced in the federal indictment, and neither are any names. So we'll get to the specifics on that when we take a look at the civil suits against Diddy. But the indictment does allege that Diddy hid his victims for days at a time to recover from the injuries he inflicted without being publicly observed.
Oh no. So he would beat on you, then hide you. He would beat on you, then hide you, so the public can't see you. That's S-tier menace right there.
Federal prosecutors allege Diddy intimidated these victims into his orbit and then forced them to participate in something he called FREAKOFFs. These FREAKOFFs were elaborate and produced sex performances that Combs arranged, directed, masturbated during, and often electronically recorded. So during these sessions, Diddy would force victims to use drugs, have sex with...
So he was drugging people while he was spanking his stuff to watching them get slammed. I'm not gonna lie. The case hasn't been fully concluded yet, but that don't sound like nothing made up. If you asking me right now, he's more guilty than innocent.
Prostitutes and be recorded doing all this, sometimes without their knowledge. Diddy also allegedly forced victims to carry illegal firearms, often through coercion and the assistance of his associates working for the Combs enterprise. Not only would these associates help suppress the victims, but they also arranged the FREAKOFFs by
I'm sorry. If that's his mom, he did it. I'm sorry. If that's his mom, he did it though.
Booking hotel rooms and stocking the rooms with required FREAKOFF necessities like baby oil or personal lubricant. These associates would also procure sex workers and IVs that were given to both Combs and the victims after these freak-off sessions to help them recover from the physical exertion and drug use. As part of all this, Diddy helped them that were given to both Combs and the victims after these freak-off sessions to help them recover from the physical exertion and drug use. As part of all this, Diddy and his associates transported and caused to be transported commercial sex workers across state lines and internationally. Okay, I know you're multitasking when you're watching our videos, and if you're out running errands, listen up. I have to tell you about the free app Upside.
If you're not out of here.
To QR 5 cents of transporting survivor Jane Doe across state lines when he flew her from Michigan to New York in 2003. Jane Doe filed civil suit against Diddy in fall 2023, alleging that 20 years prior, he raped her when she was only 17.
Huh?
According to Jane Doe,
he's raping 17-year-olds. What?
Suit. She met one of Diddy's associates in Michigan and was flown on Diddy's private jet to his studio in New York. Jane Doe also provided pictures of her with Diddy in the studio, bolstering her accusations. Once there, Diddy allegedly drugged Jane Doe and forced her to drink alcohol. After that, he allegedly raped her before sending her back to the Midwest. It's a similar story from Liza Gardner, who also filed civil suit last fall. She alleges Diddy also raped her in New York, but way back in 1990. Gardner's lawsuit alleged.
Yo, why is all these girls coming out talking about he's just raping them left and right? Like, what is this about? My question is to y'all, how does he beat this? All these people are throwing out these rape accusations. How does he beat this? He said 20 years ago he raped her when she was 17. She got flew out from Michigan to New York to get raped. I mean, to get hogtied.
She and a friend met Diddy at a party, and then at an after party, he gave her alcohol. He then allegedly raped her before another man also raped her. During all this, both men allegedly also raped Gardner's friend. A couple days later,
Yo, they's out here hog-tying people left and right.
Combs came to the home where Liza Gardner and her friend were staying. He was irate and began assaulting and choking Liza Gardner to the point that she passed out. That brings us to the next allegation that has stark similarities to Liza Gardner's. Joy Dickerson-Neal alleges Diddy raped her in 1991, also in New York. Echoing what prosecutors would write in a federal indictment against Diddy, Dickerson-Neal alleges Diddy recorded this sexual assault. Her lawsuit also argues that she's the victim of revenge porn, as Diddy showed this recording to
Diddy, you was hitting this? Nah. She got a beard. She got like facial hair on the bottom, you could tell. I'm not gonna lie, this is like a 0 out of 10. I hope you really wasn't. You wasn't slipping nothing in this drink. This is horrible.
Multiple people without her consent. All 3 of these civil lawsuits were filed last November under the New York Survivors Act. And so too was a bombshell civil suit filed by Cassandra Ventura, Diddy's ex-girlfriend, who's also known as the singer Cassie. It was with Cassie's lawsuit that we first heard in-depth accusations about Diddy's alleged illegal activity. To start, there's the gun allegation that on at least 2 occasions, Diddy demanded Cassie hold his gun in her purse. The lawsuit goes on to state, quote, "There was no clear reason why Mr. Combs required her to hold his guns, except to reinforce to his young girlfriend that he was violent, powerful, and dangerous." Beyond the gun allegations, Cassie put forth some other major accusations in her 35-page lawsuit. She says Diddy beat her, sometimes so severely that she had to hide out in hotels for days at a time, waiting for the bruises to heal. Cassie also alleged Diddy raped her and forced her to have sex with prostitutes, and even recorded this. Then there's the allegation that Diddy got jealous when Cassie began flirting with rapper Kid Cudi in 2011. Cassie says that in 2012, Diddy told her that he was going to blow up Kid Cudi's car and that he wanted to ensure that Kid Cudi was home with his friends when it happened. Around that time, Kid Cudi's car exploded in his driveway. The allegations brought forth in Cassie's lawsuit were shocking, and so too were the accusations brought months later in yet another civil suit filed by Rodney Jones, also known as the producer Lil Rod. He began working with Diddy in 2022 on the Love album, and soon, he alleges, the abuse began. Lil Rod accuses Diddy of sexual assault, writing he was, quote, the victim of constant, unsolicited, and unauthorized groping and touching of his anus.
I can't watch this no more. I cannot watch this no more. Diddy, he was out here touching boys and girls. You was playing in all kinds of trunks. You playing in boy trunks and girl trunks. You taking a garbage out on both sides. You don't care where the junk at. You in either trunk. Nah, you's a freak boy. Freak off? Nah. That ain't enough. Freak is not enough to describe the words for you, my brother. 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Shit, like 100-foot bed in your backyard. Recording while people is doing it. Spanking while people is doing it. Use a different level. Use a different level. I'll say that. Use a different level. You know, I'm gonna try and listen to the rest of this, but what is you touching trunks of the man for?
By Mr. Combs. He also alleges Diddy and his team were grooming Lil Rod to engage in gay sex. Lil Rod further alleges that Diddy forced him to have sex with prostitutes and even drugged Lil Rod to get him to comply. On top of these sexual assault allegations, Lil Rod's lawsuit also alleges that Diddy ran a gun and drug trafficking scheme. He says there are hundreds of hours of footage and audio recordings of Mr. Combs, his staff, and his guests engaging in some serious illegal activity because Diddy apparently forced Lil Rod to constantly record him. The allegations continue, saying that Diddy covered up multiple shootings. To start, there's the New York nightclub shooting in 1999. Lil Rod alleges Diddy required his then-girlfriend Jennifer Lopez to transport his illegal firearm into the NYC nightclub. The court docs also allege Diddy forced his then-artist Shine to assume responsibility for the shooting of several individuals. Lil Rod's civil suit points to another alleged cover-up too, this time for a shooting outside Diddy's Chalice Studios on September 12, 2022. According to court docs, Diddy, his son Justin, and Justin's friend referred to as G were all there when things got heated. Lil Rod heard multiple gunshots ring out, and then he found G on the bathroom floor in the fetal position. Lil Rod says he was bleeding out of his hip and leg area. After that, Mr. Combs gave strict instructions to inform the police that he had nothing to do with the shooting. He also forced Mr. Jones to lie to the police by telling them that G was shot standing outside the studio by a drive-by assailant. So that specific allegation involves Diddy's son Justin, but another allegation and entirely separate civil suit involves his other son, Christian, or King Combs. Grace Omar K alleges that Christian Combs sexually assaulted her on a yacht in December 2022.
Oh nah. We got both sons in it. G and King Combs. We having freak-offs on a boat now.
And all this was facilitated by Diddy. That suit was filed in April. And in May, former model Crystal McKinney filed suit against Diddy too, alleging he drugged and sexually assaulted her in his New York studio back in 2003. Diddy's former...
This guy doesn't stop, bro. He doesn't stop. Like, where does it end? Where does it end?
Not everybody cares.
In order to get that, I have to release him for any claims or wrongdoings or actions prior to the date of the release. I have to sign an NDA that I will never disparage Puff, Bad Boy, Janice Combs, or Justin Combs' music, or EMI, or Sony ever in public.
Just this month, Aubrey O'Day's Danity Kane bandmate Don Richard filed suit against Diddy. She alleged Diddy verbally and sexually abused her, all with the intentional infliction of emotional distress. There are so many layers to this story, dozens of allegations, civil suits, and criminal charges. And all this while Diddy sits behind bars in the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. But let's begin with those federal charges. Here's former federal prosecutor Gene Rossi. So going off and talking about those 3 charges, initially to me, when I looked over the indictment, I was like, only 3? It's only 14 pages? That's kind of small, short. But according to you, it sounds like RICO could be a giant charge.
I was surprised when I read this indictment that it is so short. What that tells me is the prosecutors just wanted to get this indictment out there to move this case along. And, you know, given the scope of this case, 14 pages is nothing. I predict that they're going to supersede, amend the indictment, and maybe not add more charges, but add more allegations under each charge, as they say, to add more meat to the bones and have what they call a speaking indictment. A speaking indictment is one that's very, very detailed. It's almost like reading a novel. And a speaking indictment can be over 100 pages. This one is sort of a bare bones general indictment that I predict the federal prosecutors are going to amend, supersede, and add more information.
Okay, so they ain't giving the whole shaboom. They just gave him a little shebang for this. They just gave him a little shebang to get the allegations out there. But they gonna come down, bring out the full force later.
So you said they'll likely add more allegations, more information to kind of beef up their argument. But we still only have these 3 charges. And I'm sure the federal prosecutors are bringing the ones that they can get a conviction on, right? The ones that have the most amount of evidence against Diddy. Do you think that's why they only brought 3 just to secure a conviction?
I think they only need 3, and here's why. The RICO charge is so expansive that if they only use that 1 count, RICO, that would be enough for me. So they don't need 20, 30 counts. If they have 3 or 4 core good counts, that's enough, because that RICO charge by itself is an extremely serious charge.
As far as a potential conviction, obviously down the line, and as you said, Diddy is presumed innocent, but if there is a conviction, what sort of sentence could he face? Multiple years behind bars?
Under the sentencing guidelines, which are not binding on a court, he's looking at significant time. Probably my back of the envelope arithmetic calculation is at least 10 years.
10 years.
Criminal defense attorney Adam Conta agrees. The
10
federal indictment is problematic for Diddy.
It lays out what they believe is a pattern of illegal activity, all in the names and the furtherance of the Combs enterprise.
With all these accusations, only 10 years? They don't feel like that much.
I think it lacks some details, but we have, because this is an ongoing investigation, and because it's sort of been in the public sphere for a while, we have more details than we normally would. They've laid out a pattern of conspiracy and racketeering that they've charged him with. But part of that is obviously that one of the victims is his ex-girlfriend Kathy, who filed this major lawsuit last year in November against him. But we kind of have the details from that lawsuit as well, so we can kind of insert those as really the jump off point to how we got here now today. But he's got some real legal challenges ahead of him, absolutely.
You brought up a good point about the pattern, showing that Diddy had a pattern to break the law in this many ways. And it all goes back kind of to Cassie and the civil suit that she filed. Obviously, they had a relationship for several years. She alleges some pretty serious accusations against him. So how important...
Yo, did y'all see that video? He beat the... Yo, he gave that girl hell. He gave her hell. I'm not gonna lie, that was a crazy video. I seen that one. Alright, I'm probably gonna wrap it up there. Ain't really too much else to talk about on Diddy. We gonna see what else the Diddler come out with. Oh wait, hold on. I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. Hold on. Don't leave me. Don't leave me. Don't leave me. Don't leave me, chat. Hold on.
I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So, and we gonna go full crazy.
Going crazy.
Pop superstar Justin Bieber was once mentored by Sean Diddy Combs. Now,
what? We gonna go full on crazy?
Justin Bieber's got more on his mind than Diddy's arrest. A source telling ET.
Not here for that, man.
And in this one video, it looks like whatever Justin is doing, and I'm not going to show it out of just respect for the fact that I truly.
Ain't nobody showing what happened.
So P. Diddy,
everything we believe that happened, that Diddy did to him, when he says, I have him in custody for the next 48 hours.
Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives. You know, where we hanging out and what we doing, we can't really disclose.
And then the next time Diddy runs into him, he says, hey, how come you haven't called me lately? You don't call me back. And he says, well, I've just been busy, but my number changed. I don't have your new number. You can tell Bieber is scared. Everything we...
I'm sorry to laugh, but nah, Diddy went on a historical run, bro. Hey, if you like the video, leave a comment, leave a like. If you like the video and you stay to the end, put loyalty. Comment loyalty down below. Hey, man, appreciate y'all. Leave a like, leave a follow. We trying to drop every day from now on. One video every day, one short every day. If not, y'all could get on my ass. You could contact me in my email if you want to do something. You got an idea that you think you want to do? Shit, get it out there. Help me. I need help. I'm trying to go crazy. I'm trying to get 1K before the year end. Come on. It's a long shot, but shit, I could get it. I could do it. Shit. We're gonna try it, man. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Y'all see me tomorrow, I swear to God.